What's up, everybody? I'm Dapper Jeff, your gamer chef. And because I did Sonic last week, it got me thinking about games from my childhood. Games that were awesome. And if you guys remember the old Ninja Turtles game for the NES, where you got to run around, you got to beat up the Foot Clan as any of the 4 Ninja Turtles, that was a good time. Until you hit the water level. I hate the water level. The water level is evil. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So, in honor of nostalgia and Ninja Turtles and not the water level, I'm going to show you guys how to make a fantastic pizza. It's super simple. It's actually pretty quick, depending on, your cooking methods. So yeah, come on into my kitchen. I'll show you how it's done. Alright guys, so our dough is almost done proofing. Actually, it is done proofing. What we're gonna do now real quick is the sauce. Before you start the sauce, my best recommendation would be to preheat your oven to 500 degrees. I know that sounds like a lot, but trust me, if you have a pizza stone, put the pizza stone in your oven, set it to 500, let it warm up for about an hour. If you don't have a pizza stone like us, well, we're gonna show you how to improvise. But still, preheat your oven. It needs to be 500 degrees. It needs to be hot. On that note, what's pizza without a good sauce? I've got my saucepan, or my saute pan. Take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Just little. There we go. We don't want it too much, but that's good. I'm gonna grab the handle. I don't know why I always put it force of habit. I'm just gonna kind of boil up the pan a little bit. Make sure that's all oily. Right. I got some garlic. Use as much or as little as you like. I have about 3 cloves of chopped garlic here. There we go. Because I love garlic. To me, it's hard to have too much. So, gonna stir that around just a little bit. And you want this on medium-high heat for now. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is grab a 28-ounce can of whole tomatoes. I cheated, I grabbed the ones that also have a little bit of basil in them, just for that extra flavor. And you're gonna pour that right in here. And I know what a lot of you are thinking, Dapper Jeff, those are whole tomatoes. How are you gonna get a sauce out of that? That's okay, you can think that. Because I'm gonna show you how to do that in just a minute or two. So, while this is cooking, if you want to start to break up the tomatoes a little bit, you can. It's not, a requirement. You don't have to do it because we're about to throw this in a blender. So we've got our tomatoes in here, we've got the juice in here, and a good sauce needs good seasoning. So I've got some parsley flakes that I'm just, like I said, a lot of this is just add to your heart's content. So I got parsley flakes, got some oregano. We've got some basil already in from the tomatoes themselves. We're gonna have a nice sauce. I'm a sucker for garlic, so I have a little bit of garlic powder that I'm just gonna sprinkle in. Not too much. And because I like a little bit of giddy up, got some crushed red pepper flakes. This is, like I said, a little bit, not a whole lot. We're gonna mix this all together. And as you can see, the liquid is already starting to bubble. We're gonna drop our heat down to about a medium-low, and we're gonna let it simmer for 3 to 5 minutes. I think 3 minutes is good. So, I'll catch you guys in 3 minutes when this is ready for the next step. All right, guys, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes since we had our sauce simmering, so I've got our blender body right here. What I'm gonna do is take the sauce, pour it right into the blender, and then I'll carry it over to the base. So, let's see if I can do this without burning myself or getting hurt. Let me grab an oven mitt. All right. For safety's sake, I'm gonna move this whole operation right over here into my sink, because this way, if I spill the sauce and make a mess, it's in the sink. I did previously wash out my sink. That is how you pour sauce from a pan into a blender. Just want to scrape out these last couple little bits of garlic. All right, I'll see you guys at the base in just a second. All right, guys, so we put everything into the blender base, or the blender body. We're bringing it over to the base, and I would like to point out this is a Ninja blender for our Ninja Turtle pizza. All right, so we're gonna turn on our blender, and I just want to pulse for that should be all we need to turn what you just saw, that tomato, into a delicious sauce. Because all we're really trying to do with the blender is break up those solid chunks of tomato. That having been said, I'm gonna kill the power on this. Always turn off the power on your blender before you remove the body. Take this, I'm just gonna set it over here to the side, because now we get to go play with some dough. All right, guys, so the next thing you're gonna wanna do is actually hurting my heart soul, because I try not to make messes in the kitchen. And this is kind of exactly what this step is. You take your area where you're gonna be working with your dough, take your flour, and just, you wanna get this area good and floured up so the dough doesn't stick to your work surface. That should be enough, for now anyway. You're also gonna wanna get some flour on your hands, so that way the dough doesn't stick to your hands. So like I said, I'm gonna kinda pat this out, spread this out a bit. There we go. Hey doctor, are you gonna yell at me for making a mess this time? He yells at me every day. All right, so I get my dough hands, or my floury hands, and we're gonna go to that dough that we rigged up and started up yesterday. We wrapped this up really good. Doctor, this wasn't a Christmas present for a small child. I mean, your wrap job is amazing, I love it, but it's very, very thorough. Toss that over there. All right, so as you guys can see, our dough has just about doubled in size from yesterday. So it's got a fairly uniform texture now too. We're gonna take it out. We're just gonna plop it right on here. I know there's a special tool, a dough knife. We do not have one, so I'm just gonna use a regular knife. And we're gonna just kinda cut this dough in half. There we go. So we're gonna take half of it that we're not using. I'm gonna put it right back in the bowl. And I'm going to rewrap it with the plastic wrap, because that way it won't dry out. Now, this dough right here is enough for 2 pizzas, or 1 big pizza, like we're gonna do, because you know, we're awesome like that. And we're Ninja Turtle fans, and the Turtles, hey, they were brothers, and brothers know how to share. So we've got our dough. Don't want a little bit of flour on this, just kind of uniformly cover it. That way it'll help the dough not stick to things. And a lot of people would be like, well, Dapper Jeff, aren't you gonna need it? No, this is a no-knead dough. You don't need it, you don't take a rolling pin to it, you talk to the dough, you press down on it to spread it out to a general pizza shape. You tell the dough what you would like for it to be, your hopes and dreams for it, and you wait to see if the dough shares those dreams. After we got to about here, you're gonna take your hands in fists and just, knuckle, over the knuckle. As you can see, we over the knuckle stretch this out a little bit. I kind of want to stretch it this way. All right, so yeah, we're gonna have a decent sized pizza here, guys. Should be enough for Dr. Eshy and I. So, once you get it to a good thickness, a thickness where you're happy with it, then comes time to, again, if you're not using a pizza stone, take a pan that you've prepped. We've got a baking sheet. I put some aluminum foil on it, and I put down a layer of flour to help the pizza not stick. I'm going to carefully lay my pizza into the pan. That looks pretty good. Actually, that, do any last second adjustments to it. That looks fairly uniform though. I'm pretty happy with this. All right. Next up, you're gonna grab that sauce we got earlier. And there's about 3 different ways you could do this right now. Because our blender has a pour spout, you could pour some sauce on, which, hey, if you want to be that guy and that adventurous, go for it. I'm going to take out the blades and grab a ladle. This way I can put the ladle in the sauce, put it on my pizza, and just kind of gently ladle it out, spread it out. The closer you get to the edges with your sauce and cheese, I guess the more it'll affect the crust, which could be really awesome. If you are gluten-free, I'm sure there are ways to do this. I don't know what that is top of my head. Probably gluten-free flour. So I'm trying not to exclude anyone from this dish. At this point, if you had any toppings, sausage, pepperoni, veggies, anything you wanted to put on your pizza, we're gonna throw on the cheese and then by all means put on those toppings. Top this pizza the way you want it. This is your pizza. All right, we've got our sauce laid out. We've got our crust done up. Now for the most important part of any pizza, the cheese. You're gonna wanna use, well, I'm using a low moisture mozzarella. You're going to want to use any cheese you like, your favorite cheese. Do not buy pre-shredded. If you buy pre-shredded, it's coated with potato starch, which makes it so it doesn't clump up when it's in the package, but it also makes it a lot harder to melt and make a good pizza. If you've tried this before, you know what I'm talking about. Go to the deli counter, just ask for some cheese. If your deli counter is anything like mine, they're cool with it. They'll be like, sure, here you go. So we're just gonna grate the cheese. Grate the cheese right onto the pizza, or you could grate it into a bowl if you'd like. The point at this, or the purpose of this at this point is just to cheese up this pizza. All right, guys. So as you can see, we've got our pizza cheesed, we've got it sauced. It is ready to go. I'm gonna carefully open my oven. Like I said, this is a 500-degree oven. Do not mess with this. This will hurt you. Take the pizza, slide it right into the oven. And we're gonna let it cook for about 10 minutes. So, in that 10 minutes, play some Ninja Turtles. Play with some real turtles, but remember to wash your hands afterwards, because, salmonella. Play some video games. Learn ninjutsu from a rat. Fight the forces of the evil Shredder. All right, guys, so our timer just went off. I'm gonna crack open this oven. We're gonna pull out a fantastic pizza that the Ninja Turtles themselves would be proud of. Let's see what we got. Grab your oven mitt, because you don't want to burn your hands. Ooh, ooh, buddy. All right. Give me just a second. I just want to quick test tap our crust. That's a nice firm crust. That, my friends, is your Teenage Mutant Ninja Pizza. I'm gonna cut some up. I'm gonna let it cool for a few minutes. Let it cool for about 5 to 10 minutes, which means don't eat it. Your mouth will thank you. Because even if you're like me and your mouth is literally watering right now, you will burn the ever-loving splinter out of your mouth if you eat this right now. Let it cool. Give it 5 to 10 minutes. I promise, it's worth it. So, I'm gonna see you guys in about 5 to 10 minutes when this is cool and ready to eat. But until then, hi. All right, guys, that's how you make some fantastic pizza fit for your Ninja Brothers. I'm Dapper Jeff. Don't forget, click like, subscribe, ring that little bell so you never miss a dish. I'll see y'all next week. But until then, stay well fed.